is, opening day of bean season, at least for Losey's home for Wayward Olivers. Getting everything dialed in. And the window's so dirty back there, you can't see what the sample looks like, but it looks good. And the yield's looking good. I need to recalibrate the yield monitor. It's reading a little high. I want that button. And you can't really see it. It's saying I'm currently 84 bushels, 76, 83, 72. It's saying 72 overall. That's with some field edges, which is great. But yeah, for what I got in the wagons, it's probably reading just a little bit high. Needs recalibrated. I'll still take it. Maybe I'll go until the alarm goes off. It's supposed to be a 350 bushel tank. It says there's 339 in there. I've already hit the 70% mark, so we're not too far off. There is some toughness in this these stems yet. It's making the 97, 95 work. It's about 3.5 most of the time, about all she wants. You start filling that straw chopper up, and you can tell it's working. We had a real hard frost last night, so I'm thinking, you know, it should dry out some more after this. But yeah, I see a lot of green stems in here, and some of them are still a little, just they don't snap off. That takes power. Is it going to stop me? No, but it's definitely going to slow it down a little bit. And then having good yielding beans is probably going to, you know, as well. Well, it says 352 and the full alarm hasn't gone off, so yeah, it's reading a little high. Let's see how high it goes before the full alarm kicks in. I'm up to about 20 acres run so far today. With that heavy frost, it took a while for that to melt and burn off, so I didn't get started until about 1 o'clock. By the time I got everything moved over here, you know, the first day blues. Got to get everything in place, get it dialed in. It takes a little longer, or you don't make quite as good a time. That's saying 357. Yeah. Definitely reading high, but you only can beep anytime, because I'd really like to have good yield. They're still yielding good no matter what, better than last year. I was worried the rain, when it turned off, we weren't going to get good pod fill, but we had just enough moisture to finish them out, I think. And then we got rain Tuesday, a day-long soaker type of thing, which was good, because boy, that ground was just so dry. It was going to be tough to plant wheat, and then also get it to germinate when there's no moisture. Yeah, 370. I don't hear any cap beans hitting yet. It's definitely reading high. Maybe I can tweak it some until I get a weigh wagon in to calibrate it. I bet this low spot's reading good, especially since I just pulled back on the stick. Yeah, now it's saying 169 bushel an acre. That's the great thing about yield monitors. Boy, they can make you a liar. I also need to recalibrate the moisture. It's saying 16 and a half, and I know they're drier than that. I gotta get a good reading on them, but Even if it really was 16 and a half, that's dry enough for me. Fan in the bin will push the rest out. Yeah, she's reading it. Well, there goes my excitement of getting record-breaking yields. Uh-oh, I've got cap beans. Oh, now the sensor goes off. Okay. 390, so yeah, she was reading about 40 bushels more than's really in there. Okay. Part of it was that side hill, probably pushed it off to that side to let it come off a little easier. And of course I got full, you know, far away from the wagon, but that's what it takes to kind of figure some of this stuff out. I hope I'm showing you something good. I'm trying to drive a combine and holding the GoPro. Sometimes it gets a little confusing. Alright, let's set this stuff off. Let's put her in 4 high. Ooh, she like that. But it's doing a good job. I'm used to running up 4.5, 5 miles an hour. Like I say, between the toughness and the good yield, so a good problem to have. Oh, I might put her in 2-wheel drive and give me a little more speed. Did it get me more? Yes. Now I need to do this and this. And let's try bopping this down to 90. See if that gets us a little more accurate yield. Boop. Boop, boop. Yeah, it doesn't show up as much on your screen, at least from what I'm seeing here, but this dump is pretty much going to fill the wagons up. It'll be the first dump in the bin when it gets to that point. We'll open the door, let the dust in, see some action. the first spill of the year on the first load of the year. Looks like it's doing pretty good. The spill looks clean. Alright, let's see if we can cross the road. 4:30. This road gets pretty busy starting around here now, whatever. Nope, ain't trying that. Hopefully people will have mercy on my soul. Look at that. Well, I gotta find a tractor to run the auger, and I think it's gonna be Allen's 1650. That tractor just can't stay away. It'll be, oh look, I'm shaking a little bit of beans over the edge. That 1650, now it's leaking oil into the rear end from the hydraulics. I'm guessing the pump shaft seal is leaking, but it just doesn't like staying away from here. So it's in for repairs again. But it's not a profuse leak, so it'll work good enough to do what we're going to do. Probably. I don't know, maybe I should try something else. I hate to do damage to his tractor, and if it's low on hydraulic oil, I don't want to mess with that. Time, stuff, time. Maybe it'll be the 1800. Maybe I'll just put a hand crank on there. I'm going to say somewhere right about there. Right, a little close and a little far forward, but we'll find out. Turn you to face the thing. Oh, so close. I should have backed up. That will work. Oh, I don't suppose the Allen 1750 has stayed charged up. Then the next question would be, which shaft is in it? Is it on 540? It is. All right. Well, let's see if the battery's up on this. If it is, this will be a good candidate. not enough. Well, all right, 1800. I'd say 1550, but it's low on gas. And it's got a bit of a governor issue, so it doesn't always, well, it just doesn't make the power it should, because the governor doesn't kick in like it should. I'm going to say, because it was so cold, I'm going to preheat. I should have been counting in my head. 20. Something. Yeah, there's a clock right on this, but I didn't look at what time it was at. Yeah. Sure it's actually going in the bin. Only missing the middle by just a skosh, but it'll be all right by the time it gets to the top. Cool. Might as well turn the fan on, try to push some dust and stuff out. That might open the concave up a little more. That'll also help with the toughness. To do that going down the road because the front is geared to go just a little bit faster than the rear, makes it work better. And so it's hard on them to, you know, be on hard pavement and four-wheel drive. You're gonna burn up tires and it's hard on the drivetrain. Well, in the field it works great. So yeah, it's a full mechanical engagement once it is engaged. If the rear wheels are spinning out, the power can all be used by the front if it needs to be. And the 6125. When I bought this, I didn't feel that what I was using it for, I could use that front wheel assist was worth the extra money. And I still kicked myself over that. It's still great as a two-wheel drive tractor. But it would definitely help, like pulling these wagons around and stuff, to have that front axle in there helping out. Well, it's where we can see in the window. There is the occasional green bean in there. Green pod. Which, you know, considering there's green stems still, shouldn't be surprising, but it's a small enough percentage, it ain't gonna hurt a thing. Yeah, I swear I inhaled a soybean or something. Oh, look at that. A rivet has popped out. Well, that needs fixed. Love to see, you know, all the green pop out through that window going down the road or something. I should have timed that. That didn't take long. See if I can do better on the second wagon. I got more to go. And there. Let's see how I did. Well, that was close. There goes my shoe. This was the first dump, so there's a little bit of oats in the combine. I always put that in the back wagon, that way it blends better. That and the wetter beans are usually the first beans you run, so that blends them in too. It is the next morning, and well, heavy dew again, so waiting for things to dry off. I'm planting wheat here as the beans come off, so I'm going to do a little disking while things dry off. Some more 4-2-25 action. Going slow here, just giving her a little more time to warm up. Only drove from across the road. It's another bright sunny day and there's a nice breeze going. That should get those beans drying off pretty quick. The rain we got Tuesday sure made a difference. It was so dry and it rained pretty much all Tuesday, just a nice soaker. So not something that where it's going to run off and only the low spots got water. So it's working up nice. Much needed. The wheat should germinate. Combine's sitting up there just waiting to get back to work. But I'll get this part disked up and grab a bite to eat for lunch, and then things ought to be dried off enough to get rolling. Thinking I might have a soft tire. Let's check that. That one is a little different. It's got one more rip than the others. It just seems different. Never a dull moment. Let's give it to Kel some kick. She's soft. Dang it. Hopefully it's a slow leak. Well, it's taking air. That's a good sign. But the numbers are going down. Down, 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 down. Almost, I know this is a Carlisle, it's not the original. I think I replaced all the ground engaging wheel, or the main carrying wheels here when it's folded. It's been quite a few years. They were getting weather checked, and I did not want the heartache of a flat. Look at the splitting and stuff. Oh, yeah, I see the problem. It's about to give birth. Okay, well, I guess we might as well swap it out while I'm right here. I got time for that. The grass is still wet. And I did disc what I was gonna get disced. And I believe I got another wheel around I can throw on there for now. Yay. Always something. Always something. Just let it down. Get the weight off from it, pop it off, find its replacement. Thank goodness for duals. I believe this rim's actually originally off my chisel plow. Somehow or another, with flats and stuff, someone traded places. All right, going up. Well, I've got this new old stock 12.5L that I already had mounted on a rim for such an instance. It is, well, probably, you know, not a spring chicken either, but that one's an 11L. Slight height difference, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get too crazy about. Get me through the season, get me until I can replace that one. Let's do it, or until these cracks give up. All right, going down again. This rim was on the grain drill, the big 30-footer, and when the tires, well, they were pretty much shot when I got it, so I got new, but it had 9 5Ls and I went to 11Ls on that, so I had to went with a bigger rim, so I had these rims left over. There we go. Ooh, I'll have to be careful about disking with the wings folded up. Like I ever do that. Okay, maybe once or twice. Let's see how she goes. Up she goes. Something's leaking in that stack somewhere. Probably a O-ring for a nipple, the tip, you know, thing. All right. Already got a problem solved for today. It must be a great day. It's the afternoon and things have dried off. Lots of dust in the rearview mirror. Man, this thing was struggling. I couldn't figure it out for the longest time, and I finally did. It's just like it wasn't getting enough air, and I replaced both air filters before the start of the season. I always had to keep them clean in the past. Just finally, I'm like, maybe the pre-cleaner's plugged up. I've never had that before. I should have taken the camera with me, but that's exactly what it was. There's all sorts of corn leaves in there. and they had bypassed the air restriction indicator. So I'm guessing previous owners had that problem too, but they didn't realize what the problem was. Because man, she's doing much better now. I'm doing 4 miles an hour and only at 85, 80 or 90% load. Before, this would have been just making her roll of coal and killing it. Now she's just cruising along, making much better time. Like I say, I have never had a pre-cleaner get plugged like that before, but I guess on a combine, all that it's in the back and all that stuff flying around. But even then, you know, I've had been running combines for pretty much my whole life. Get dirty air filters, but never a pre-cleaner. That's just something else. So as I said yesterday, or earlier in this video, I did some farmer calibration to get the yield a little more accurate. It was definitely reading high. To get a weigh wagon in here soon. Do some tests. And then I also recalibrated the moisture. That was definitely running high by about 3%, according to my other tester. So I have adjusted that. Let's see. Now it says it's got to wait for the grain to get to the top. About 14.5 for moisture, which is about what I had in the bin. I'll double check it again. And even with taking, what did I end up? Compensated by 15%, because that seemed about how high I was. Still running along 75 to 80. Vary some. So that is, that's just fantastic for me. And a little bit of bragging, not about the yield, but about how clean this field is. 1 pass with Roundup. That is it. Had a few escapes here and there. A couple of mare's tail, which are now Roundup resistant. But they were mostly in just places where like a woodchuck had ate all the beans and it got let sunlight get through. This is why I solid seed. I know some guys probably couldn't get away with this because heavier ground doesn't dry out as good, prevents more disease pressure, but with my sand, it just drinks it right up, and I can get away with higher populations that will choke out the weeds. The biggest thing is balancing it out between having too much and running out of moisture later in the season. Yeah, seed costs something, but so do all those chemicals, having to go across the field. And if I can avoid using them, I would just as soon. Man, that's just woke that combine up. Let's go back to 57%, and now I'm running a little slow because I'm using the camera, but 3.7 mile an hour, 75% load. Let's give her a little more. Give her some beans. Here's 4.1. We're up to 80% load. Wow. Yeah, I probably should have just drove up to the shop. It's only across the road. Gone out with an air gun, but did a quick disassemble of the pre-cleaner. Had to pick corn leaves out and just kind of tap it and brought her back to life. I'll see how close I get to the 350 bushel mark this time. I know for a lot of people that aren't farmers that watch, a half a mile an hour probably is like, wow, big deal. But when you're going across acres that, I'm going 25 feet wide, I don't know if this does a acres per hour calculation. It It does tell me how many bushels an hour I'm harvesting. No. How fast everything's turning. I am currently harvesting 794 bushels an hour. Ground speed of 4.2. But yeah, half a mile an hour can add on acres in a day. A whole mile an hour, woo! Let's say you're going, 3 mile an hour and you jump up to 4. That's that extra mile an hour, that's 1/3 of your speed added on again, so you should be a third more capacity. So if you were harvesting, say, 10 acres an hour, you'd add on another 3 acres an hour. Just some rough math, stuff. It all adds up. That's why it's nice to have that load meter there. I can, keep the combine working but not overload it. Try to be efficient. But yeah, it's liking that much better. I'm up to 4.2. Now we're starting to hit some 90% engine load. Maybe you can see it better if I get right in there. That one in the middle is your, that's engine load. Down here is grain loss. The top bar is the rotor. The bottom one is the sieves. So I'm losing basically nothing. So I've got capacity. And look, it's time to turn around again. This is an odd shaped field. It's got some hay out of it over there where it's really odd shaped. If you include that, it's about 100 acres. But from the air, it kind of looks like the state of Texas. A small version, but imagine trying to do straight rows in a field shaped like that. Get them all going the same direction. Alright, well, I'll report back in a little bit. This time I got 325 when the bin alarm went off. Might have been room for a little more. I was kind of on a hill and it shifted. So now I'm a little under. I'll just compensate the other way a little bit. Well, I should have filmed some while I'm running, but it's actually the afternoon. The clouds rolled in before the dew burn off. But stuff felt dry, but I got running and opened up the headlands here, and they were just fighting their way through the combine. Getting a lot of rotor overload and having to go slow even at that. So I am going to go plant wheat, which will be another video. But at least I've got something to do. I disked this morning, and so I got a good chunk of land to get wheat on and keep myself busy. So that'll be it for this one. As always, I appreciate everybody watching and hope to see you in the next one.